We continue in chapter 7. Chapter 7, Yehuda. We're speaking about God's unity. We spoke yesterday the distinction between divine knowledge and human knowledge. Human knowledge, me, the soul of me, is a knower. Knowledge is the tool of my brain that gives me the capacity to know, to be the knower. And then there's the known, the information, whether it's, hey, look at that, Rachel is with us. And Yana is with us from Yerushalayim, no less, Jerusalem. I just became aware of that. I didn't know that before. That Yana was from Yerushalayim. Karen, I knew she was from Los Angeles. Thank you for joining. What does that mean? That knowledge is something added to me because it's outside of me. And I incorporate it. So whatever I incorporate becomes not unified and perfectly one with me, because it wasn't perfectly one with me beforehand. It was something added, super added to me. So therefore my knowledge is a compound of things. With God, it's a perfect, simplistic whole oneness. He is the knower, the knowledge, and the known as one. Hence, when he is knowing as the knower, the tool of knowledge is perfectly one with him, and that which is known is also perfectly one with him, meaning it's not super added because he's knowing himself. So when God wants to connect to me, he just connects to himself. By knowing himself, he knows me. He knows you. That's what we explained yesterday at great length. So, with this in mind, the Alter Rebbe says, we can now explain the great debate. I use those words. Those are my words. What's the great debate? So, let's back up before the great debate and understand, or try to appreciate, before the Arizal. The Arizal, the Ari HaKodesh, who lived in Tzfat in the 16th century, who is the modern-day father of Kabbalistic teachings, who introduced an idea to us that we didn't have before, or we didn't have knowledge of it, a concept, an idea that gave us an understanding, and that is Tzimtzum, contraction. But before we get into Tzimtzum, contraction, back up for a moment. God is infinite, and we have a finite creation. Before the Arizal came and explained to us, we had no intellectual understanding, merely faith that we believed, that God as an infinite being creates a finite world. How does that happen? Well, the truth is, even if we don't understand, that's okay. We have perfect faith in God that he's infinite and he's capable and he can do that which he pleases. So he pleases to create a finite, limited world even though he is infinite. How from an infinite comes a finite? Well, we don't get it. Okay, that's the truth is, what do we get of God? How much do we understand of him? So we didn't get it until the Arizal came around. And he explained to us, how does from a infinite God come a finite world? Tzimtzum, contraction. God contracts upon his infinite being in order to allow that there should be a finite existence. Now, without going into all the finer details, which we have done in the past, this gives us at least an understanding of from an infinite to finite through the act of Tzimtzum, contraction of the infinite. Now the great debate. What does that mean? Everybody accepts the teachings of the Arizal. They are the Word of God. Tzimtzum is part of Jewish teachings. It was only revealed in his times. Okay. Just like the Tanya was only revealed in its time, and before that there wasn't that understanding of Torah the way the Alter Rebbe is teaching us. That's perfectly okay. Why? Because Torah is in one hand carved in stone, 10 Commandments, only at least on the luchos, on the tablets, 613 altogether, and those things don't change. At the same time, Torah is not carved in stone. It's forever expanding. It's growing. How so? Well, that's the paradox. It's carved in stone and forever growing at the same time. Certain aspects are carved in stone, and certain aspects are forever expanding. So Chassidus is part of the expansion. The Arizal's teachings of the Tzimtzum is part of the expansion of the understanding of Torah. So, with this understanding, that now there is a concept of God contracting upon himself, became a great debate. Debate is, how do we understand Tzimtzum? Is it literal or is it non-literal? The Alter Rebbe says it's not literal. And there are other great sages, great Torah scholars that took Tzimtzum in a literal manner, meaning that God literally removed himself, contracted himself out from this physical world. Not to say that he's not in control, he's in control, but beyond. And the truth is, many of us probably have that kind of image of a king in his palace who is puppeteering and controlling from above, beyond, but not from within. Why? Because God contracted himself out, the infinite removed, in order that there should be a finite. And on some level, that might even make sense, until we understand the Alter Rebbe's arguments why it doesn't make sense. I hope that's, first of all, clear, this great debate. There's many nuances in it. There's actually 4 different ways to see this debate. And we're not going to go into those details at the moment. So the Alter Rebbe says, if we envision that God literally, not figuratively, removed, was mitzamtzem on his infinite nature, then that would give some kind of corporal phenomena to God. To remove yourself means you're one place and you're moving yourself to another place. So in some manner, there's a corporeality, a physicality, or a limitation at least, to this being. You can't say that about God. He removed himself. How do we understand that? I can remove myself from this room to go to the next room because I'm physical. That can be done. Furthermore, the Alter Rebbe argues that we are ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. Jewish people are believers, the descendants of believers. And we all know that God created this world, and God, his providence, extends to this world. And as we explained, based on Maimonides' teachings in yesterday's class, and we briefly went over it at the beginning of the class, that God is absolutely one with his knowledge. Therefore, there is no plurality. There's nothing added to God and his awareness and his knowledge. When he's knowing something, he's knowing that which is of himself. Well, if God were removed from this physical world, then that would suggest that that which he knows is now something added to him that wasn't there before. But we can't say that. That's the second argument. Third argument is based on the Zohar. As a Jewish people, our teachings are based on that which is predated, rather, of the holy teachers that came before, and in the Zohar, which is 1700 years old, says very clearly there's no place that's devoid of him, God, not the light of God. In others, with this idea that Tzimtzum is literal, so the light of God can be here, but the infinite of God himself is not, right? The light of God is here. But the Zohar states very clearly that there's no place devoid of him, of the Ein Sof, of God himself, not the light of God. He's found in a lower physical world. That's in one teachings in the Zohar, Tikkun 57. In the Rai Mehemnin and Parshas Pinchas, he grasps all and none can grasp him. He encompasses all worlds. He permeates all the worlds. Well, he's there. He himself. Not the light. It doesn't say the light of God, right? But God himself. So, this idea that God himself is here, we can't grasp that. The essence of God, the infinite of God. You can't grasp it because he's hidden from all hiddenness. From even the higher worlds, can't grasp it. Now this notion of grasp, can't grasp God, means with our minds, but also is a notion that God can't be grasped within this world. Meaning, when you grasp something, you take hold of it, you can change it. You can affect it, that which you grasp in your hand. And the metaphor that we've given before, just like the soul is grasped within and enclosed within the body affects the soul. So if there's pain to the body, the soul feels it. Cold to the body, the soul feels the cold. And so on. Because it is grasped within. It is enclosed within. God, when we say that he's not grasped, not only we can't grasp him with our minds, but we can't affect and make a change in the essence of God, even though he's found here. Even though he's found here, we can't make that change in him because he's not found here in a way that the soul is found within the body, grasped within it, enclosed within it. And therefore, change can affect, impact can be made upon the soul within the body because of the body. Not so God, even though the essence of God is here within the world, not in a manner though that he is grasped not by our minds and not grasped in the sense that he's contained. Like when you grasp something, you hold the ball. When you hold the ball, you have it contained, controlled. So he's not contained, controlled, not affected by being here. How so? It's a hard thing to grasp. Is he here? So Tzimtzum, he contracted, but not in a literal way. So what does it mean he contracted then? He contracted that he removed himself, that he is here, but not in a way that we can perceive, we can understand, or that he's affected by being here in this physical limited world. In other words, the infinite could still be within the finite. How could that be? Well, God could do it. He's God. How's it done? Through contraction. So he contracts. Contract meaning to, not literally, not contract to remove, like I remove myself from the room, I'm now in a different room. No. So I'm not here. Maybe my aura would be here. Maybe my impact will be here. My light will be shining here, but I'm not here. So God, no, is here, not just his light. He himself is here, not just his impact, in a manner that we can't grasp with our minds, and he's not grasped, contained, and limited, even though it's a finite world. Through Tzimtzum. Tzimtzum means the capability of contracting in a manner that therefore there would not be revealed and therefore experienced. So it's not revealed, but God is here. I hope I explained that well, because it's a very challenging idea, very abstract. Folks, let me know that you got it. Jason from Montreal is with us. Thank you for joining. Stephen Boker Tov from, thank you for joining. Jane from Chicago, good Tvach. And Shoshana Bina is with us from Virginia, Boker Tov. Mustafa, shalom from Tracy, good morning. Thank you for your emotive connection. To Tanya. Boker Tov to Paul from San Antonio. Rona, thank you for joining. My other classes, well, you'll find the previous class. They're here. Okay, Shoshana Bina is admitting that she's a little lost. And Ahmad, thank you. Okay. But Chachma, okay, excellent. Serach, good morning, Virginia. From Florida. Heather, okay, thank you. Paul, shalom, Denise, okay, wonderful. John from Jupiter, Florida. Ella from Arizona. Rick from Hopkins, Minnesota. Okay. We will review tomorrow. In the meantime, sharing is caring. Please share the Alter Rebbe's teachings with others. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from my home in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day and a good Vach.